Experience the epic series that the world is watching and raving about. Catch up or relive the first 3 seasons of Game of Thrones, now on HBO On Demand, and watch back-to-back episodes anytime on your schedule. This year, join the Legion of Followers and enjoy past seasons of Game of Thrones, plus the premiere of Season 4 on April 6th on HBO. Don't miss out. Sign up for HBO and get free access to HBO On Demand.
Prime Minister Perry Christie defends his actions in helping cash-strapped, value-added tax consultant Ishmael Lightbourne. This as the status of Lightbourne's home remains unclear. A high-speed chase ends with a major drug bust. What the Bahamas is doing to clamp down on money laundering and web shop gaming. What's next for former employees of the Hard Rock Cafe? And Grand Bahama members of Parliament raised the alarm over crime in the second city. We have those stories and more coming up tonight. Good evening, Bahamas. I'm Christina McNeil, and your MB12 starts right now. Joining us. The Prime Minister defending his intervention with a bank, using the opportunity this morning to explain the number of families he has helped and how he has helped them. Prime Minister Perry Christie addressing criticism from the podium of the National Conclave of Chambers of Commerce of the Bahamas, calling it trite that anyone would think he has only helped one individual.
It is trite. Trite to believe that a prime minister separates himself and helps one person. I help hundreds. And please tell them if they have them lined up who need some advice, send them all to me. Send them all. Let them see that I govern myself with both head and heart, but that I have a day-to-day relationship with the financial community, where there is mutual respect and understanding, and any involvement on my part or my government's part is to help the bank. That's the point. To help the bank, not to help the individual.
Christie came under heavy fire when he revealed that he intervened to help save the home of cash-strapped value-added tax consultant Ishmael Lightbourne. In the House of Assembly last month, Christie said he was acting as Prime Minister when he called CIBC First Caribbean International Bank to stop Lightbourne's home from being repossessed. Some have called that an abuse of power, while Deputy Prime Minister Philip Davis came to Christie's defense, saying all who are in positions of power are called upon to intervene and lend assistance when assistance is required. Despite that assistance, the Nassau Guardian's cameras were outside Lightbourne's home this morning when locksmiths arrived to change the locks with police present. Lightbourne was home at the time. He and his family could be seen carrying packages to the garage. Lightbourne and his family left police at the Cable Beach home. At around the same time, Christie was at Breeze's resort explaining how many other families he has assisted over his past 40 years in public life. He added that the role of the Prime Minister is to do what he can to help others while maintaining good relations with the financial community.
Concern about what kind of reach you're doing, like, my talking about I'm intervening in a bank, which I've been doing for 40 years. And since this thing about my intervening in the bank, I've helped about 3 or 4 other families where he meets with the top people in banking regularly, and where we all understand what could happen and what can't happen.
The Nassau Guardian revealed that Lightbourne owes more than $100,000 in property taxes on a commercial property and nearly $8,000 in property taxes on his home. Christie has stated that Lightbourne is making arrangements with the Real Property Tax Office to settle his liabilities within a reasonable time. The status of Lightbourne's beachfront home remains unclear. Well, a dramatic high-speed chase in waters off Andros ended this morning with the arrests of 3 men and the seizure of more than $1 million worth of suspected marijuana. As police officers were closing in, authorities say the suspects tried to ram the side of the police vessel to evade capture. However, officials were able to pull off this latest drug seizure thanks to a collaborative effort between the DEU, DEA, OPBAT, and Marine Support Services. Vonique Toot reports.
While most of us were sleeping at 5:15 this morning, a team of officers from the Drug Enforcement Unit was on the high seas arresting 3 suspects allegedly attempting to smuggle drugs from Jamaica into the Bahamas. As a result of that arrest, officers confiscated $1.2 million worth of suspected drugs.
We can say this morning that we have 3 male Bahamians in custody, ranging from the ages of 45, 40, and 34.
Loaded with 1,200 pounds of suspected marijuana, this 30-foot vessel sailed into Bahamian waters under the cloak of darkness. But thanks to a team effort between the DEU, OPBAT, DEA, and Marine Support Services, DEU Chief Superintendent Samuel Butler says the boat was intercepted in waters off Andros this morning.
Just off the Cargo Creek in the Andros area. They were on board a 30-feet Midnight Express, having a large quantity of marijuana on board their vessel. We estimate the weight of the marijuana to be some 1,200 pounds and a street value of $1.2 million.
It took several officers to transfer the large bags and coolers of marijuana from the boat and onto the back of a truck. An officer was also seen searching a leopard print duffel bag filled with clothing. Meantime, the 3 handcuffed suspects were removed from the vessel and taken into police custody. But the trio didn't go down without a fight. Butler says as officers were closing in, the suspects tried to ram their boat with this vessel.
But there was some level of resistance, and we're always concerned about those kinds of resistance, and we will be able to say that it was an attempt to ram the police vessel. But because of the skillfulness of our captain and the persons on board from law enforcement, we were still able to successfully interdict them.
This latest drug seizure comes days after DEU and DEA officers discovered nearly $17 million worth of marijuana plants on a field in East Grand, Bahama. In late February, police seized more than $800,000 worth of marijuana in Sea Breeze.
We again are happy to report that our collaboration, our intelligence, the effort of officers are definitely in high gear, and that's why you're seeing the amount of successes in terms of drug interdiction. And so we are early in our investigation, but we know that in short order we will have these persons before the court.
Reporting for NB12, I'm Vonique Toot.
Attorney General Allison Maynard Gibson today renewing the Christie administration's commitment to putting in place the strongest anti-money laundering and terrorist financing framework, but was tight-lipped when pressed on the Bahamas' efforts to clamp down on web shops and money laundering. Her comments come 1 month after the United States government again urged the Bahamas to expand anti-money laundering protocols in light of the possible legalization of web shops and expected growth in the gaming sector.
What I will say to you is that the Bahamas takes its role in financial services and financial services as a tool for development of our country very, very seriously. And you will see, and the Prime Minister has already said it, that we will put in place the strongest framework for anti-money laundering and counter-financing and terrorism framework no matter what. That's the story, and it's a very important one for the future of the country. It really is.
The U.S. State Department's 2014 narcotics report noted that illegal gambling along with drug and gun trafficking and human smuggling account for major sources of laundered proceeds. The Attorney General was also asked to respond to claims that the Bahamas could face a negative evaluation from the CFATF if the government does not make a decision on how to regulate the numbers industry.
I am not going to be distracted by what other people say. I am saying to you, I'm the Attorney General, I'm the Chairman of CFATF. I think I speak with a smidgen of credibility and confidence that this is an extraordinary honor for the Bahamas today. It's planting an important seed for the future of financial services, not just in the Bahamas, but the entire region.
Maynard Gibson spoke with reporters today on the sidelines of the Caribbean Financial Task Force Anti-Money Laundering and Terrorist Financing Conference. Well, the Bahamas is entering into an exciting period as the telecommunications market is on the brink of liberalization, according to Prime Minister Perry Christie. The Bahamas Telecommunications Company's exclusivity period ends this month, which Christie says may allow Bahamians to explore other business opportunities.
As of the 6th of this month, we are free to begin the process of liberalization, and therefore the questions that would be asked obviously we will be in a position to begin to answer them in terms of the competition that will come into being in the ensuing period as a result of the work we will be doing.
Back in February, BTC CEO Jeff Houston said the company would make sure it is competitive enough to take on a new mobile player. Today, Christie said he hopes BTC is ready.
It is critical going forward, and I can tell you in the arena of competition, as a major shareholder, that is the country of BTC, one can readily anticipate in competition what it means when Bahamians like new things. And so I'm talking to them a lot, tell them prepare for this new beginning of competition.
Digicel, which has a strong presence in the Caribbean, is pursuing approval to offer services in the Bahamian cellular market. Minister of Labor Shane Gibson has a message for employees of downtown Nassau's Hard Rock Cafe who lost their jobs yesterday. They may want to take action as soon as they can. Dana Smith reports.
Gibson said he's encouraging the redundant employees of the now defunct Hard Rock Cafe to report any issues to the Department of Labor so that officials can properly investigate their claims. More than 30 employees arrived to work yesterday only to find they were out of a job. Frustrated and emotional employees told our news team they were given no prior warning and were informed they would not receive severance pay until the liquidation was complete. Labor Minister Shane Gibson spoke to the issue outside the House of Assembly today.
I would encourage the Hard Rock Cafe employees in particular and employees in general to report to the Department of Labor any information they have where employees are not being given their due entitlement in accordance with the law. But I'm just saying in general, employees have rights. Employees have benefits they're paid whenever they're terminated, whenever they're made redundant. And I expect for the Hard Rock Cafe to fully comply with the laws of the Bahamas.
Gibson said he learned about the store's closure when a third party, unrelated to Hard Rock or its employees, happened to mention it to him about 2 days ago, and he informed the Director of Labor to look into the matter. Gibson said he's disappointed the Hard Rock Cafe did not contact the Department of Labor about its problems and potential future redundancies, as is mandated by the Code of Industrial Practice.
The Code of Industrial Practice spells out that whenever groups of employees are about to be made redundant, that employers should meet with the Department of Labor and give requisite notice and advise the Department of Labor of any changes of employment status pending. And so I am very disappointed that in the case of the Hard Rock Cafe, that it was not formally brought to my attention.
Gibson said he's not sure exactly who owns the Hard Rock Cafe or the owner's nationality. He explained sometimes foreign employers can close down and leave the country, and the government is already revising redundancy policies in that regard.
But certainly, if they're locals, we have a bit more time to pursue them. If they're foreigners, they may decide to pack up and leave, and that is why we've been looking at revising the redundancy laws and redundancy policies to make sure that employers don't come, foreign employers in particular, don't come to the Bahamas, take advantage of employees, walk away and leave them owing tens of thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars. I mean, it happened with local employees as well. And so we don't encourage it at all. But unless it is brought to our attention and a trade dispute is filed officially, it makes it more difficult. We can pursue it if we hear about it, but it's easier to pursue whenever a failed trade dispute is filed.
Gibson added any employees who are made redundant can apply for unemployment benefits from the National Insurance Board. Reporting for NB12, I'm Dana Smith.